The air is thick with the scent of jasmine as I pull into our driveway, the sun setting behind our modest two-story home. Lisa's car isn't here yet. She's probably still at her final fitting. It's our 5th anniversary today, and she wants everything to be perfect for tonight's dinner. I've never seen her so excited about a date night, planning every detail for weeks, from the candles to the playlist. Inside, I shuffle through the mail, bills mostly, and a glossy travel magazine with a feature on Bali. That's her next big trip, 3 weeks touring exotic beaches and ancient temples for her blog. She's made quite the name for herself in the travel writing world, her followers hanging on every vivid description she pens. I admire that about her, her passion. It's infectious. I start setting the table, the clink of cutlery against fine china echoing in the empty room. Our dining room is softly lit, casting warm shadows across the family photos lining the walls. In each, Lisa's smile is a beacon. As I straighten the silverware, my mind drifts to her return, imagining her surprise when she sees the effort I've put into tonight. I'm just adjusting the centerpiece, a bouquet of her favorite lilies, when I hear the door. My heart lifts. "Babe, you're home," I call out, moving towards the hallway. Lisa appears, a vision in her new dress, seafoam green silk that clings and flows in all the right places. Her hair is up, stray curls framing her face, and she's more beautiful than I remember this morning. She's all wide smiles as she rushes over, her heels clicking on the hardwood floor. "David, you didn't have to go through all this trouble," she exclaims, wrapping her arms around me. The scent of her perfume, a mix of vanilla and something tropical, fills my senses. "I wanted to," I murmur, pulling her closer. "Happy anniversary, Lisa." She pulls back slightly, her hands on my chest. "I have something to tell you," she says, her voice a mix of excitement and nerves. I frown slightly, tension creeping into the moment. "What's up?" She bites her lip, hesitating. "I'm going to extend my trip. There's so much more to explore, and the blog could really benefit from it." My heart sinks, but I mask my disappointment with a nod. "Of course, babe, I understand." Her smile returns, and she pecks me on the lips. "It's going to be amazing, David. You'll see the photos and wish you were there." I force a smile, though a part of me aches at the thought of more weeks apart. "I'm sure I will." As we move to the dining room, the evening proceeds with laughter and shared memories, yet a nagging doubt begins to gnaw at me. Her phone buzzes incessantly throughout dinner, texts lighting up the screen face down on the table. Each buzz is a jolt to my gut, stirring a suspicion I try to squash. It's probably nothing, just her followers, or maybe her editor, I tell myself. But the seed of doubt, once planted, is hard to ignore, and by the time we say goodnight, the image of her half-hidden phone screen haunts me, a small yet persistent shadow on our perfect evening. I wake early, groggy from last night's wine, but unable to shake the unsettling feeling in my gut. Lisa is still asleep, a serene expression on her face that contradicts the storm brewing in my mind. I quietly slip out of bed, grab my phone, and head to the kitchen. As I brew coffee, my thoughts whirl. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. It's her job to be out there, right? But why all the secrecy? After a strong cup of coffee, I resolve to clear my doubts. I'll surprise her on this trip. I'll see for myself that everything's fine, and these silly worries will laugh themselves out of me. Lisa always talks about how much she wishes I could see the places she visits. Maybe this is my chance, not just to see them, but to see her in her element. Decision made, I feel a weight lift off me, albeit slightly. The next week drags as I make quiet arrangements. I book my flight, tell my boss I need some time off for a personal matter, and pack lightly. Lisa leaves 2 days before me, her goodbye full of kisses and promises to FaceTime every night. When I land in the tropical paradise where Lisa is supposed to be working, the humidity hits me like a wall. Palm trees line the roads and the air is heavy with the scent of salt and blooming flowers. I take a taxi to the hotel, a picturesque place with views of the crystal-clear ocean. My heart races with a mix of excitement and dread. As I approach the reception, planning to surprise Lisa with a knock on her door, I notice a group of muscular men laughing boisterously near the entrance. They're young, fit, their tanned skin glistening with sweat as if they've just come from the beach. A chill runs down my spine when I see them head towards the elevators. A familiar pink scarf one of them is wearing. It's Lisa's. Pulse pounding, I follow them at a distance, my hands shaking. They get off on Lisa's floor. I hide around the corner, watching as they approach her room. My heart stops when one of them uses a key card to enter. This has to be a mistake. It has to be. I wait, frozen, until they leave the room, still laughing, still oblivious to my world crumbling. I count to 100 to calm my nerves, then head to her door. I knock. Once, twice. No answer. I knock harder, desperation seeping into my bones. The door swings open, and there's Lisa, her hair a mess, her makeup smudged. She's wrapped in a towel, clearly fresh from a shower, and behind her, the room is in disarray, clothes strewn about, an open suitcase on the bed. "David? What are you doing here?" Her voice is shaky, her eyes wide with shock. "I came to surprise you." My voice is flat, my arms crossed. I try to look past her into the room. "Oh." She bites her lip, a nervous gesture I know too well. "This isn't a good time, David." Clearly. I step forward, trying to peer around her. "Who were those guys?" She blocks my view, moving with me. "Just some fellow travelers I met. We were planning a group excursion. It's nothing, really." I look into her eyes, searching for the woman I married. "In our room? With a key?" Lisa's face falls, the excuses seeming to drain out of her. "It's not what you think, David." "Then what is it, Lisa? Help me understand." My voice breaks, the hurt clear and raw. She sighs, stepping aside, letting me in. "They're just friends, I swear. But I didn't tell you because I knew you'd get the wrong idea. It's innocent." I don't believe her. Not fully. But I want to. I so desperately want to. "David, please, you have to trust me." Her hands reach for mine, but I pull away. "I want to, Lisa. But it's hard when things look like this." She nods, tears brimming in her eyes. "Stay with me then. See for yourself. Please." I agree, not because I believe her, but because I need to know the truth. The next few days are a tense dance of shadows and doubts. I watch her, watch them. They're friendly. Too friendly. Every laugh, every touch sends suspicion spiraling through me. One evening, I can't take it anymore. I confront her again, this time more forcefully. "This isn't working, Lisa. I can't shake the feeling that there's more you're not telling me." Her face crumples, and she confesses to feeling distant, disconnected from our life back home. But I haven't cheated, David, I promise. I'm torn between the love I have for her and the evidence of my own eyes. That night, I make a decision. I can't live like this. I need the full truth, no matter the cost. The next day, while she's out, I take her phone, my hands trembling as I go through her messages. It's all there. Not just texts, but photos, dates, times. My Lisa, not as I know her, but as someone else entirely. I confront her that night, her phone in my hand, my heart in shreds. "Why, Lisa?" Her tears don't move me this time. Her apologies sound hollow. I walk out, not knowing where to go, just knowing I can't stay. I spend the night walking the beach, the moonlight cold and clear. By morning, I know what I have to do. I'll make her pay, yes, but not through anger or violence. I'll use her own tools against her, her blog, her public image. Let the world see the real Lisa. It's cruel, perhaps, but it's all I have left. I head back to confront her one last time, the dawn breaking over a day that will change our lives forever. I return to our hotel room with the dawn light painting the sky a bruised orange. Lisa is still there, curled up on the bed, her eyes swollen from crying. She looks up, hope flickering in her gaze, but it dies when she sees the resolve in my eyes. "I thought you'd left for good," she whispers. "I almost did." My voice is flat, my hands clenched at my sides. But there's something we need to do first. Lisa sits up, wrapping the sheet around her. The room feels charged, the air thick with the scent of sea salt and betrayal. What are you talking about, David? We're going to fix this, I say, though fix is far from what I have in mind. Your blog, your followers, they're going to know the truth. Her face drains of color. You wouldn't. I will. I pull out my phone, showing her the drafts I've prepared, posts detailing her affairs, the photos, the messages. It's all here, everything, your public and private personas, merged into one honest narrative. You can't, Lisa starts, panic rising in her voice as she lunges for the phone. I step back, out of reach. I can, and I will, I say firmly, unless you give me one good reason not to. Tears start to flow down her cheeks again, her body trembling. Please, David, this will destroy me. Like you destroyed us? My heart hardens against her pleas. I trusted you, Lisa, and you threw it away for what? Excitement? Thrills? It wasn't like that, she sobs, her words muffled by her hands covering her face. I just felt so alone. You were always working, always distant. That doesn't justify what you did. We stare at each other, the gulf between us wider than ever. Finally, she nods slowly, resignation settling in. Do what you have to do. I don't move at first, the weight of her surrender heavy in the air. Then I sit down at the small desk, my fingers hovering over the keyboard. I start to type, the click of each key a hammer blow. But as I write, my anger begins to wane, replaced by a hollow sadness. I pause, looking back at her. Lisa is watching me, her eyes red, her posture defeated. I really did love you, David. I still do. The words hit me harder than I expect. I shake my head, trying to clear the conflicting emotions. I don't know if I can believe that anymore. I finish the post, my movements robotic. Then I hesitate, my finger over the publish button. This is it, the point of no return. I look at Lisa again, her misery etched deep into her features. My resolve falters. What am I doing? I mutter to myself. This isn't me. I'm not a vindictive man. I'm just hurt, lost. I delete the draft, the decision sending a strange relief through me. Get dressed, I tell Lisa. We're going home. The flight back is tense, each of us lost in our thoughts. When we land, the reality of what awaits starts to sink in. The lies, the deceit, it's all still there, a chasm between us. We need to talk, I say as we drive back from the airport. Really talk, about us, about everything. Lisa nods, wiping away a stray tear. I want that. I want to fix this, if we can. I don't answer, the hope too fragile to put into words. Back home, I begin the hard work of untangling our lives. I dig deeper into her affairs, needing to understand the full extent of her betrayal. I meet with one of the men, a guy named Marco, under the guise of needing closure. His casual shrug when I ask why he did it fuels a fresh wave of anger. It was just fun, man. Nothing serious. She was up for it. The words sting, and I struggle to maintain my composure. And did you know she was married? He hesitates, then nods. Yeah, but she said it was complicated. Complicated. The word reverberates in my mind as I leave, the puzzle pieces of Lisa's infidelity forming a clearer picture. But the understanding doesn't bring peace. It only confirms the depth of her deception. I confront Lisa with what I've learned. How many were there? I demand, the need for the full truth a burning ache. She breaks down, the full confession pouring out. There were others, brief flings during her trips, escapes from what she felt was an increasingly stifling life. You could have just asked for a divorce, I say, the words cold and hard. I know. I'm sorry. I was selfish. I was scared. Her apologies pile up, each as useless as the last. I'm left to grapple with the shattered remains of our marriage, the love I once felt now a bitter ash in my mouth. But as the days pass, My fury subsides into a profound sadness. I see Lisa trying to change, attending therapy, cutting ties with the past. And something unexpected happens. I start to miss her. Not the Lisa who betrayed me, but the woman I fell in love with, who laughed easily and dreamed big. One evening, as I sit alone, staring at the empty chair across from me, I realize I have a choice. I can hold on to my anger, let it define what comes next, or I can try to forgive, to rebuild something new from the wreckage. "Let's start over," I tell her one night, the words surprising even me. Lisa looks at me, hope mingling with uncertainty. "Are you sure?" "No," I admit, "but I'm willing to try, if you are." We begin the slow, painful process of healing, sessions with a marriage counselor, dates where we talk about everything and nothing. The tension eases gradually, the trust tentative but growing. One day, as we walk along the beach, Lisa takes my hand, her fingers cold but firm in mine. "I'm sorry for everything," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. "I know," I reply, squeezing her hand. "Let's keep moving forward, together." It's not easy. There are days when the doubt creeps back, when the hurt flares up anew. But we face each challenge as it comes, committed to forging a new path, one cautious step at a time. And as I look at Lisa, really look at her, I see not just the woman who hurt me, but the woman who is fighting to be better, for us. Maybe that's enough for now. Maybe that's where hope begins. It's late when I hear the noise, a faint creaking that tugs me out of sleep. Darkness presses around, and for a moment, I'm disoriented. Then it clicks. Someone is in our house. My heart kicks against my ribs as I slip from the bed, careful not to wake Lisa. The air feels cooler than usual, the shadows deeper. I inch toward the bedroom door, my ears straining. Another creak, louder this time, closer. It's coming from downstairs. Adrenaline surges through me as I grab the baseball bat we keep tucked beside the wardrobe. My grip is tight, knuckles white. I don't think. I can't think. I have to protect us. Silently, I pad down the hallway, every nerve alight. The soft murmur of voices drifts up. 2, maybe 3 people. Anger flares within me. How dare they invade our home? The shadows grow denser as I descend the stairs, the darkness a cloak I use to my advantage. Peeking into the living room, I see them, masked figures, bags in hand, rifling through our things. The moonlight slashes across the floor, casting silver streaks on their dark clothing. It's surreal, like a scene from one of the thrillers Lisa loves. Only this is real. Too real. I step into the room, bat raised. "Get out!" I hiss, voice low, fierce. They turn, startled. There's a moment, a beat of absolute stillness, then chaos. They rush me. The bat swings, connects with a sickening thud. One goes down. Pain explodes in my side as another tackles me to the ground. We struggle, the floor hard against my back, his weight crushing. I twist, the bat lost, now fighting with bare hands. "David!" Lisa's scream pierces the tumult. She's at the top of the stairs, phone in hand, presumably calling the police. The intruder on top of me hesitates, and that's all I need. I push, roll, and he's off. I scramble up, breath ragged, heart a drum in my chest. The remaining intruders are retreating, dragging their companion. I don't chase. I can barely stand, pain radiating through me. Lisa rushes down, her face pale, eyes wide with fear. "Are you okay?" she gasps, hands roaming over me, checking for injuries. "I think so." My voice is hoarse, my body beginning to register the blows. We sit on the couch, waiting for the police, listening to the eerie silence that has settled over our home. Lisa's head rests against my shoulder, her body trembling. "They're gone," I murmur, trying to soothe her, trying to believe it myself. The police arrive, questions follow, a blur of lights and voices. They take statements, nod sympathetically, promise to do their best. But once they leave, the violated feeling remains, our safety shattered like the glass of the broken window they left behind. The next days are a flurry of repairs and security upgrades. But more than the physical damage, It's the fear that lingers, a constant shadow trailing our every step. Lisa is quiet, more withdrawn. I see her jump at every sound, her eyes haunted. I feel it too, the ripple of dread when the wind rattles the door, the spike of fear when a shadow moves just outside the light's reach. "We can't live like this," Lisa says one evening, her voice hollow. "I can't feel safe in my own home." Her words strike a chord. This isn't just about physical security, it's about feeling secure, something far harder to regain. I pull her close, her body stiff before relaxing against me. "We'll get through this," I say, but the assurance sounds feeble even to my ears. As we try to reclaim our sense of normalcy, I realize that the attack has changed something fundamental between us. The distance that had begun to close is widening again, not because of betrayal this time, but because of the shared trauma we can't seem to move past. The trial of the intruders looms, a date circled in red on our calendar. As it approaches, tension coils tighter around us. Lisa becomes more reserved, her smiles rarer, her nightmares more frequent. On the day of the trial, we sit side by side in the courtroom, a united front in face of the men who violated our sanctuary. They look smaller, cuffed, surrounded by officers, yet the sight of them reignites the raw fear of that night. Testifying feels like reliving the attack. My voice echoes in the quiet room, every detail, every moment laid bare. Beside me, Lisa holds my hand, a lifeline that keeps me grounded. When it's her turn, her voice trembles, but doesn't break. She's strong, stronger than she knows, and I've never been prouder of her. The verdict comes. Guilty. Relief washes over me in an almost physical wave. But as we leave the courthouse, Lisa's hand in mine, I wonder if the verdict can truly mend what's been broken. At home, we try to celebrate, a quiet dinner, just the two of us. But the shadows linger in the corners, in the unspoken thoughts that hover between us. "We did it," Lisa says, a brave attempt at a smile on her lips. "We did," I reply, squeezing her hand across the table. But the victory feels hollow. The intruders are behind bars, yet the security they stole seems irretrievable. We're survivors, yet surviving feels like just another word for enduring. That night, as I watched Lisa sleep, her face troubled even in dreams, I realized that this battle might be over, but the war for our peace is just beginning. We need healing, not just from the betrayal or the attack, but from all the wounds we've collected along the way. Tomorrow, I decide, we'll start finding our way back to each other, truly back, not just in the same space, but in the same heart. It won't be easy. Maybe it won't even be fully possible, but we owe it to ourselves to try, to fight not just against what the world throws at us, but for what we can be together. And maybe, just maybe, that's what survival really means. In the days following the trial, the tension that had wrapped its icy fingers around us begins to thaw. Lisa and I start seeing a therapist together, sessions filled with hard truths and harder realizations. The therapist, Dr. Mears, is a gentle woman with sharp eyes that miss nothing. She prods and pokes at the weakest parts of our relationship, not to hurt, but to heal. "We need to rebuild trust," Dr. Mears says, her voice calm, steady. "And that starts with honesty, complete and utter honesty about everything." Lisa and I exchange glances. I nod, feeling the weight of the secrets I've kept, the emotions I've buried. Lisa squeezes my hand, her presence a warm promise beside me. "David, why don't you start?" Dr. Mears suggests. I clear my throat, the room suddenly feeling too small. "I've been angry," I admit, the words tasting bitter on my tongue. Angry at Lisa, at the men, at myself for not seeing what was happening sooner. Lisa's hand tightens around mine. "And I've been scared," she adds softly. "Scared of losing David, scared of being alone, scared of not being enough." Our sessions unfold like this, layers peeling back, revealing the raw, tender spots of our marriage. It's painful, exhausting work, but with each truth shared, A brick is laid on the foundation of our new relationship. Outside of therapy, we start working on regaining our normalcy. Lisa throws herself into her writing again, but this time she shares her pieces with me, her words a bridge between her world and mine. I take up photography once more, capturing moments of beauty and peace, reminders of what we're fighting for. As weeks turn into months, the sharp edges of our pain dull into something manageable. We start going on dates again, simple things like movie nights or walks in the park. During one such walk, Lisa stops and pulls me into her arms. "I'm really trying, David," she whispers, her breath warm against my ear. "I hope you can see that." "I do," I reply, holding her close. "I'm trying too." We start talking about the future, tentative plans whispered in the dark. It's like sketching on a blank canvas, exciting and terrifying in equal measure. One night, over dinner at our favorite restaurant, the one where we had our first date, Lisa looks across the table at me with a sparkle in her eyes. "What if we took a trip together? Just us, no blog, no cameras, like a second honeymoon?" The idea lights something within me, hope fluttering like a delicate bird in my chest. "I'd like that," I say, the corners of my mouth lifting in a genuine smile. We decide on Italy, a place neither of us has been, but both have longed to see. The planning of the trip becomes a joint project, something we both dive into with enthusiasm. It feels good, working together, dreaming together. The trip itself is better than either of us could have imagined. Italy is vibrant, a tapestry of history, culture, and life. We explore ancient ruins, savor exquisite meals, and walk hand in hand down cobbled streets under a sky so blue it looks painted. One evening, in a little restaurant overlooking the Amalfi Coast, with the sun setting into the sea, Lisa leans across the table and takes my hand. "Thank you for this," she says, her eyes moist, "for giving us another chance." "It's not just me," I say, feeling suddenly overwhelmed by how far we've come. "It's us. We're doing this together." The trip rekindles something vital between us, a spark that had been smothered by years of neglect and weeks of pain. We return home with a renewed sense of commitment, a reinforced bond. Back home, reality waits, but it feels less daunting now. We continue our therapy, but now it's more about growth than repair. We talk about starting a family, about moving to a new place where we can both start fresh. "I want to be someone you can trust again," Lisa says one night as we're looking at houses online. "I want to build something with you, something lasting." "I trust you," I say, realizing as I speak that it's true. The bitterness that had once soured every sweet memory has been washed away, replaced by something stronger, more enduring. We find a house, a lovely little place with a big backyard and a view of the mountains. It's a new beginning, a symbol of everything we hope to build together. Moving in is chaotic, boxes everywhere, but it's a happy chaos. Our new neighbors come by to introduce themselves, bringing cookies and smiles. It feels like community, like belonging. That night, as we sit amidst the boxes, too tired to unpack another thing, Lisa pulls me into a hug. "I love you," she says, and it's the simplest and most profound thing she could say. "I love you too," I reply, and I mean it with every fiber of my being. We still have our moments, of course. No relationship is perfect, and ours is no exception. But now, when we stumble, we catch each other, we hold on, and we move forward together. The journey isn't easy, nor is it short, but it's ours. And as I look at Lisa, laughing as she tries to assemble a bookshelf without the instructions, I know that every step, every stumble, has been worth it. Because this is what healing looks like. This is what forgiveness feels like. This is what love is. A choice, a challenge, a chance. And we take it every day, together. Life gradually settles into a new rhythm in our Mountain View home, each day unwrapping like a carefully chosen gift. Lisa and I grow closer, the sharp edges of past grievances softened by a shared commitment to forge a better future. Yet, The ultimate test of our rebuilt trust looms large. A final confrontation, not with each other, but with the remnants of Lisa's past. A threat that threatens to unravel everything we've worked so hard to rebuild. The confrontation begins unexpectedly on a crisp, sunny afternoon. The doorbell rings, a sound that still sends a shiver of tension through me since the break-in. I open the door to find a man standing on our porch, his appearance neither friendly nor entirely hostile. He's about my height, with sharp features and a gaze that doesn't waver. "David?" he asks, his voice betraying a trace of nervousness. "That's right. Can I help you?" I respond, my posture tensing slightly, ready for anything. I was a friend of Lisa's," he begins, shifting uncomfortably. "From before. I think we need to talk." A cold dread fills me, but I nod, stepping aside to let him in. Lisa is in the kitchen, and when she sees him, her face goes pale, a silent testament to the ghosts of her past we're yet to lay to rest. "Mark," she says, a tremor in her voice. Mark nods, looking equally unsettled. "Lisa." I lead him into the living room, sensing Lisa's anxiety radiating like heat. We sit, an awkward triangle, each of us burdened by our own apprehensions. "What's this about?" I ask, my voice firm, cutting through the tension. Mark takes a deep breath, his hands clasped tightly. "I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm getting married soon, and I wanted to clear the air. What happened with Lisa, it wasn't right. I've been part of the problem, and I'm sorry." His apology hangs in the air, dense and heavy. Lisa bites her lip, visibly shaken. "Thank you, Mark. I hope you find happiness." Mark nods, his eyes meeting mine. "I hope you can forgive me for whatever part I played in the hurt." I stare at him, the tumult of emotions hard to navigate. Forgiveness isn't easy. It's a battle fought in the depths of the soul. But as I look at Lisa, at the raw hope in her eyes, I realize this is about more than just us. "I appreciate you coming here," I say slowly. "It means a lot." Mark stands, the meeting obviously a relief to him as well. "Thank you for hearing me out." After he leaves, Lisa collapses against me, her body trembling. "I never thought he'd come," she whispers. "I know," I soothe, holding her close. "But he did, and maybe it's a good thing. Closure." She nods, tears in her eyes. "Maybe." The encounter with Mark sets off a chain of introspections. Lisa and I spend long nights talking about trust, about the future, about what it means to truly leave the past behind. It's during these conversations that I feel the final barriers between us crumble. "You know," Lisa says one night, her head resting on my shoulder, "I'm really proud of us." "Me too," I reply, kissing the top of her head. "It's been a long road." "It has, but we've walked it together." The realization that we've turned a corner is palpable. Our relationship, once frayed to breaking, now feels resilient, buoyed by mutual understanding and genuine affection. As weeks turn into months, our lives continue to evolve. Lisa's blog transforms into a platform for sharing not just travel experiences, but personal journeys, touching on themes of forgiveness and healing. Her audience responds with overwhelming support, drawn to the authenticity and rawness of her posts. Meanwhile, I rediscover my passion for photography, capturing moments of beauty and transformation. My photos, coupled with Lisa's writing, turn into a collaborative project that brings us even closer. One afternoon, as we hike up a trail overlooking our home, Lisa stops, taking in the breathtaking view of the valley below. The sun sets, painting the sky in hues of gold and purple. "Look how far we've come," she says, her voice filled with wonder. I pull her into my arms, feeling the rightness of the moment. "Not just geographically." She laughs, and the sound is sweeter than any music. "No, not just geographically." As the days grow shorter and the nights longer, we begin to plan for the future in earnest. Discussions about children, about expanding our home, about traveling together as a family, fill our evenings with excitement and anticipation. "We're really doing this, aren't we?" Lisa asks one evening, her eyes bright. "We are," I confirm, feeling a surge of happiness so intense it almost scares me. "We're building something amazing here." The final confrontation with Mark proves to be the last piece needed to complete our puzzle of redemption and forgiveness. With that chapter closed, we're free to move forward without the shadows of doubt that had once clung so tenaciously to us. Our story isn't just about betrayal and pain. It's about overcoming, about fighting through the darkness to find a light so bright it can't be dimmed. As we sit together, watching the stars emerge one by one, I realize that this isn't just a new chapter in our lives. It's a whole new book. And as I look at Lisa, her hand in mine, her smile reflecting the starlight, I know that no matter what comes, we'll face it together. Stronger not just for the trials we've endured, but for the love we've fostered. A love that proved strong enough to survive the storm. As the last light of the year fades into the cool tranquility of an early winter evening, Lisa and I sit on our new porch, the one that overlooks the sprawling garden we've planted together. Our hands are clasped, her head resting gently on my shoulder, the quiet punctuated only by the gentle rustle of leaves and the distant calls of returning birds. This moment is a testament to our resilience, a soft endnote to the tumultuous symphony that had once defined our lives. "We did it, didn't we?" Lisa murmurs, her voice a soft echo of the peace that surrounds us. "We did," I affirm, squeezing her hand. "We came through it all." In the reflection of the setting sun, our home glows warmly, the windows catching the last rays and turning them into golden threads weaving through the fabric of our existence. This house, once a symbol of a new beginning, is now a living, breathing entity filled with our hopes, our dreams, and our renewed love. "Our first Christmas here," she says, a hint of awe in her tone. "It feels right, doesn't it? It feels perfect." The word hangs between us, simple yet profound. Inside, the decorations we've chosen together adorn the spacious living room. A tree, resplendent with lights and colorful baubles, stands proudly in the corner, gifts wrapped in shimmering paper nestled beneath it. It's more than a festive display. It's a symbol of our shared joy and the promises we've made to each other. Promises of patience, understanding, and forgiveness. As we rise to go inside, the chill of the evening wraps around us, but it cannot touch the warmth that we carry in our hearts. The kitchen smells of baking cookies and mulled wine, scents that fill our home with the essence of the holiday spirit. Lisa, ever the master of ambiance, lights a few candles, their flames flickering in the soft draft, casting playful shadows on the walls. We move together, a dance we've perfected over months of rediscovery. Our movements are fluid, a testament to the harmony we've nurtured against all odds. In the kitchen, I wrap my arms around her waist as she stirs the wine, her back pressed against me. "Do you remember our first Christmas?" she asks, leaning her head back to look at me. "How could I forget?" I reply. "We were both so awkward, trying so hard to impress each other." She laughs, a sound that warms me more than the fire burning in the hearth. "We've come a long way since then." "We have," I agree, kissing her gently on the temple. "And I wouldn't change a thing." Dinner is a quiet affair, just the two of us, our conversation meandering through memories, plans, and quiet reflections. It's intimate, filled with the kind of love that has been tempered in the forge of adversity and come out stronger. Afterward, we sit by the fireplace, sipping our wine, watching the flames dance in the hearth. The fire casts a warm glow over Lisa's face, highlighting the lines that have deepened over time, each one a mark of her strength, her passion, her commitment to us and to healing. "This year has been a journey," I say, the firelight reflecting in my eyes. "One I wouldn't have wanted to take with anyone but you," she responds, her hand finding mine, fingers entwining naturally. As the fire burns down, we talk about the future, about what we hope to achieve, both together and as individuals. Lisa wants to expand her blog into a platform for people recovering from personal trauma, turning her past into a beacon of hope for others. I plan to publish a photo book, a collection capturing the essence of transformation. Each image a story of change and renewal. We're not just surviving anymore, I note, a sense of pride swelling in my chest. No, she agrees, her eyes bright with unshed tears of joy. We're thriving. When the clock strikes midnight, signaling the end of another day, we head upstairs, hand in hand, a couple reborn from the ashes of their past mistakes. In our bedroom, the moonlight spills across the bed, silver and cool. Lisa stops in the doorway, turns to me with a smile that still makes my heart skip a beat. "Thank you," she says, her voice filled with deep sincerity. "For what?" I ask, pulling her close. "For believing in us, for fighting for us when it would have been easier not to." I kiss her, a kiss that speaks of endless nights and heartfelt promises, of pain endured and joy rediscovered. "Always," I whisper against her lips. As we lay together, the world outside fades away, leaving only the certainty of our love, the strength of our bond, and the promise of all the days to come. The story of our past, with all its pain and strife, settles into the background, a stark contrast to the peace we now hold. This isn't just the conclusion of a year of hardship, but the prelude to a lifetime of shared dreams and adventures. As I drift off to sleep, Lisa's breathing soft and even beside me, I realize that our story isn't ending, it's just beginning. And in the quiet hush of the early morning hours, with the stars still watching silently overhead, I dare to dream of what the future holds. Knowing whatever it is, we'll face it together, stronger, wiser, and forever in love.